Today is Thursday, the 6th of November 2025, and this is papertrail.com, a daily streaming all about governance, risk, and compliance here in the UK for SME and mid-market firms. Last week, we spoke about the hidden costs of duplication. This week, we'll go further with supplier due diligence, sanction screening, and keeping evidence audit-ready year-round from a risk perspective. And today's topic is the easiest way to stay audit-ready and works for all the year round. So don't worry about the acronyms. They will be explained during the streaming. And as a sort of disclaimer, this is not a complete guide. I will focus on the three main problems only. So here we go. First problem, number one, evidence is gathered in bursts at year end. So the risk systems need ongoing proof that controls actually runs. Problem number two is that logs without timestamps and owners cannot support incident analysis or audits. So reliability matters. And problem number three is processors, a third-party entity that processes personal data on behalf of the data controller, must assist with information and audits under the GDPR Article 28. So without structured records, you cannot exercise the right efficiently. This obligation is key part of ensuring the processor adheres to the data protection requirements and allows the controller to verify their compliance. And the controller is the entity that determines the purposes and means of processing personal data and who a processor assists. So, three main problems. Let me give you a hint of what all this looks like, particularly what is ongoing proof. An ongoing proof requires at least a control catalog mapped to risks. So you have a catalog of things that are related to risk, a routine control test with evidence, a continuous monitoring, an independence assurance internally or a third party, and a review cadence. So that is ongoing proof. As you can see, this is not a set and forget system. We've spoke about cadence and a few times this past week, which is a recurrent, ideally automated process to remind you and your team of these requirements on a set calendar days throughout the year. So let me put this in a simple metaphor. So if we think about teeth and patio tiles, you say what they have to do one to the other. Just imagine this. For tiles, you can do a deep power wash before the summer, so all looks nice and tidy before the good weather hits the backyard. But your teeth, you must have a small daily brushing routine because a once a year deep cleaning, like the patio tiles, probably will not cut it, right? So when we speak about audit ready year round, we're talking about these things. You can do it in a burst with a power washer, which is a very, very strenuous process, and or more efficiently, you do it on a daily basis routines with the cadence. So here are 3 points to consider to solve this problem. Number one, set a cadence, as I mentioned, but set a cadence by risk. So a monthly for patch and multi-factor authentication attestations, a quarterly one for higher risk suppliers and risk screens, and an annual one for the low risk reviews, and tie each of the risk with an ID and an owner. Solution number two, centralize logs. What ran, when, and the output. Oh, there was a CSV file, a multi-factor authentication screenshot, etc., etc. So keep them queryable, meaning that actually can be checked and recovered from the database and consistent with the National Cybersecurity Center login guidance. And solution number three is avoid this pitfall. Evidence image without context. Include the systems, the scope, the timestamp, and approver in the file names and metadata. So as you can see, there's several requirements that are very problematic to be complying with and to be audit ready throughout the whole year. There are measurements that you can take to make this happen, but it starts to get very complicated because remember yesterday we spoke about the challenges of adequate and reasonable procedures, and HMRC's corporate criminal offense expect documented risk-based prevention. So things can get complicated in a snap of a finger, particularly for small and medium enterprises and mid-market companies, where there are no dedicated teams, officials, or personnel within the company to run these compliance requirements. And we are talking about here only one of the 16 frameworks required for any UK companies. You have health and safety, DVCA for fleet management, GDPR, cybersecurity, cyber essentials. So no wonder 73% UK companies outsource and hire consultants or an advisor, and this is according to the PwC report this year. So it's complicated, it's expensive, what to look for. And as I always mention in these live streams, that you and your company should have a compliance baseline, or at least a baseline in mind. So you can hire all the advisors and consultants that you like, or you want, or you need on your own terms. And what is a baseline and how it looks like in this particular case? The outcomes. Always ask, what do they do for you? Do they move their, they do the last minute scrambles to an always on trail? So auditors see dated linked evidence. Can they provide that? Or is just say, oh, we're going to do a big bang audit and give you all what you need for the compliance requirements? If this is second, probably it's not a good idea. Second is a differentiator. Do they pin artifacts to controls and risk and schedule refreshers by tier? And tiers, it means which levels of complexity or risk. As a reminder, an artifact means a concrete piece of evidence you produce during the supplier due diligence. And what kind of risk they reduce for you? So do they provide unified access to auditors and assessors, a guided walkthrough of the exact framework with evidence attached? And remember, a lineage should have at least 3 portions. So the requirement, which is a framework, which is a controls, and which is evidence. So you need to have these 3 pieces together attached to your risks. So one action you can do today, as a matter of exercise, don't wait for the weekend, or probably you could do it with the weekend when you have more time, but then you keep time from your family and friends. But create a 2-column roster now. So on the left, put the control, and on the right, the evidence cadence. And file 5 items, like a multi-factor authentication, patching, sanction risk screening, anti-bribery, corruption training, and subject asset request log. And add the owners and who and the dates of these activities. Probably you'll start to see that it's getting very, very complicated just putting this file together without logging anything, which is an easier way to do all this. With Paper Trail, you get an audit-ready evidence without all this drama, a UK-aligned cadence checklist, and it's tailored to your company profile. And here's the key, is your company profile that is tailored, is done first. And from there, what frameworks you have to be compliant with. So then you avoid all these duplications, overlapping, and expensive cost that is spreadsheet fillings, meaning that actually they provide all these templates to fill information that actually probably not always is tailored to your company. And this is perfect for UK SMEs and mid-market because you use the same control library for health and safety, GDPR, DVCA, and cyber essentials, and EPR too. So it is no double entry. So it's reducing the overlap, as I mentioned, by 60%. So overlap means actually some people in your team are doing the same job that you are doing, and the other way around. And this is costly because it's not just the time that you involve, also is the consultants, because a financial manager or an operation manager will need a different consultant than actually IT manager or MD, a managing director. So you hire many consultants for many things, and this is costs, and we'll call them more costs. So you have with Paper Trail all in one place is a continuous gap analysis. So you don't have to redo the same thing again and again. You don't have to double enter the information. It's all the information in one place, and then you find the gaps. The system find the gaps, and that gives you a clear view of what is done, what is missing, and who owns this particular fix or requirement before assurance inspection reports or audits hits you, so you are ready year-round. So you can do it once, do it properly, and move on, and the things that are more important to you, which is grow the company and be more profitable. So stay tuned this week as we go further with supplier due diligence, sanction screening, and keep evidence audit ready year-round. Yesterday, I mentioned tiered procedures. Today, we build this cadence. Tomorrow, we'll connect contracts, companies House IDV, which is the mandatory identification verification, and monitoring into one operation rhythm. So join the waitlist, paytrail.com. Have a great